Welcome back. All right, so we're going to talk about Seattle. Seattle going into year 2. So year 1 was it's an expansion team. It's a learning experience, right? So they go 27, 49, and 6. They finished 29th in goals for, so they need more goals. They finished 24th in goals against. They need fewer goals against. Their defense at times was shaky. Their goaltending at times was also shaky. And again, looking for those big goals. They didn't get the big goals they needed when they needed them. So thus you get the 27, 49, and 6 record. Now, what's interesting to me is that their best month was March, where they go 5, 6, and 1. So that's after the deadline. They played relatively well. Their worst month was going into it, though, at 2, 8, and 1 in the month of February. So they didn't have a month where they were 500 or above, and that's something they're going to want to fix this coming season. In terms of lost players, Calle Yarncroke, I do believe, Victor Rask, and Daniel Sprong are 3 of the noteworthies. And again, I'm not getting into absolutely every exit and new player, because I think you can end up with just a whole wall of names at that point. But new faces seem to outnumber the exits, and there's some important ones here in that Andre Burakovsky is coming off of a very good season. He's still young, and he signed in Seattle. Oliver Bjorkstrand was traded by Columbus due to cap considerations, and Seattle had the cap space to give up to get Bjorkstrand. So in adding Bjorkstrand and Burakovsky, that has to add a minimum. I would think a minimum of 45 goals. That's at a bare minimum. So if they get those 45 goals, and if they don't miss anybody they've lost, their goals against should stay roughly the same. Their goals for should go up. Now, Shane Wright is the question mark. Does he make the team in year 1? Does he make the team in year 2? And if he makes the team this year 1 after his draft, what kind of player is he going to be? Is he going to be a prime guy right away, or is he going to need some time to come up through the lineup? And so with Shane Wright, who slipped to 4th in the draft, and Seattle couldn't draft him fast enough, we'll see this season how ready he is. I would think pretty early in the season, should he make the team. Justin Schultz was added on the blue line. I think that's a decent pickup. Really, I think that solidifies their blue line a little bit. And Martin Jones was picked up in net because Chris Driedger isn't going to be playing for quite a while. So in having Driedger and LTIR, it means that they're going to have a little bit more cap space than what they appear to have at this point. At this point, they have $1,010,834 in cap space, according to Cap Friendly. Again, LTIR is going to help them out with that. Their tandem in net, as it stands, would be Philip Grubauer and Martin Jones. Martin Jones coming off of a decent season with the Flyers. The Flyers had a really rough year defensively, so I thought it made Jones and Hart, I thought it made both of their numbers look a lot worse than what they really were. I thought they played better than the numbers would tell you anyways, so we'll see how Jones does in Seattle, a team that also has its own defensive struggles. Now down the middle. And this is important because, again, when you're looking at teams that are going to take that next step, or teams that are going to be competitive, very often the center spot tells you how good they could be. Matty Beniers is going to get every opportunity, I would think, to play first-line center. He was great after being brought up last year. Had 9 points in 10 games. Yanni Gourde, Alexander Wenberg, Morgan Geekie. There's some good depth down the middle. But is this a contending sort of depth down the middle lineup? Not really, no. But this is going to be okay because they added Burakovsky and Bjorkstrand on the wings. There's the possibility that Shane Wright jumps in and goes to the middle right away. There's the possibility Wright ends up on the wing for Matty Beniers. And maybe they have a dynamic scoring touch right away together. We shall see. The channel, not that optimistic when it comes to Seattle going into year 2. 1%. 1% of the channel voted for them to finish first or second. So that may have been misvotes. That may have been, we just hate everybody else in that division, so let's vote for Seattle or just for fun. And on the Entertainment Guy channel, the just for fun vote got 3%. Then in 3rd or 4th, you've got 4% of the hockey channel saying they could finish 3rd or 4th. 5% of the Entertainment Guy channel. 5th or 6th place, 36% of this channel said 5th or 6th. 38% of my second channel. 7th or 8th, 59% of this channel voted for them to finish 7th or 8th. 54% of the Entertainment Guy. So more than half of the vote on both channels said, yeah, Seattle's not ready to move up yet. And the interesting thing is I could see them finishing 7th or 8th in the division and still improving their record. I could see both of those things happening. It was 8.3 thousand votes, so we had about 8,300 votes on the Hockey Channel, 636 votes on the Entertainment Guy channel. So the Stanley Cup odds right now, well, I mean, if you put down some money on Seattle, if they win the cup, you're in the clear. According to OddsShark, plus 10,000. So that's on $100, you win 10 grand. So you put down 200, you got a car. So yeah, I don't think that necessarily means people should be putting down their money on Seattle, because I don't think we're in Stanley Cup contender territory yet, but I really do like the additions. I do like that Shane Wright drops to fourth and they grab him. I think there's more to like with Seattle than what people may realize. The top four on the blue line: Vince Dunn, who had a very good year for Seattle. Adam Larson, who I thought also had a decent season. Alexiak, I thought he was more effective in Dallas than he was last year in Seattle, but we'll see. And Justin Schultz should be jumping into that top four defense. The defense is one area of concern for Seattle. I think they'd like to bring in another guy if they could, but we'll see, right? Breakthrough candidates, it's plural, but for Seattle, I only came up with Matty Beniers, because Shane Wright doesn't qualify really as a breakthrough guy because he hasn't played in the NHL at all yet. Beniers, it's even kind of a little bit iffy with Beniers because he's still technically a rookie this coming season. So he may have a good shot at the Calder because, again, he showed in that cup of coffee at Atlanta last year. He's pretty good. So we'll see what happens with Beniers, but this is not a team that's got a lot of good young players. This is a team that's got a good mix. There's a lot of veterans here, and so I don't see a lot of breakthroughs. One interesting name that's not on the board, Brandon Tanf. If Tanf can be healthy and play a lot for Seattle, that could help tremendously. And again, this is a team that's going to be looking for some goals. Their coach, Dave Hackstall, very regularly people will ask, well, how long can Hackstall be the coach? I would say, I would give the odds probably better than 50-50 that he makes it through this coming season. I don't think the expectations are that high for Seattle, but if they regress, if their numbers get worse, maybe we see a move being made. If young players like Beniers and Wright struggle under Hackstall, we may see a change being made, because you can't afford to have your top prospects floundering at all at the NHL level. Ron Francis is the GM. I think he's got a lot of leeway here. I would think Francis has at least the first 5 seasons with Seattle to see what he can do. When you get into the leaders on this team in goals, Jared McCann had 27. Very good season for him. Yanni Gourde and Jordan Eberle both had 21. Eberle ice cold at times this past season, but still ends up with 21 goals. On the assists front for Seattle, Vince Dunn had 28 to lead the team. Yanni Gourde had 27. So Gourde with 21 goals, 27 assists, 48 points. Not bad considering he didn't play the full season. So expiring contracts. This is where things might get a little interesting. Jonas Donskoy's expiring contract. He was one of the most snake-bit players in the National Hockey League last season. Ryan Donato, who they just re-signed and brought back. Donato's playing for a job next year, which I think helps with those players. I think there's some motivational factor there. Although I think they'd like to have that security of a few years in a contract. A lot of players don't get that. Carson Kuhlman is on an expiring contract, as is John Hayden. John Hayden, one of the new faces. I didn't put him up there. I don't know how much Hayden's going to play. But looking for some toughness, Hayden can provide that. Now, special teams were not great. And one of the reasons you bring in Bjorkstrand and Burakovsky is to try to fix the power play. It clicked at 14.6%. It had stretches last year where it was really anemic. So if you can get the right scoring from Burakovsky, Bjorkstrand, maybe Schultz can chip in a bit on the power play too. He has shown that ability in the past. I know that's not the recent past necessarily, but we shall see. Seattle may give him an opportunity other teams haven't. And then on the penalty kill, well, the numbers weren't very good there either. So 74.9%. So that's a total of 89.5, which is, again, it's not great numbers. But for Seattle, there was a lot of non-great numbers that was going on. There was a lot of not great numbers around this team. Offense, defense, goaltending all over. There's blame to go around. We'll see if Grubauer has a bounce back. Grubauer on that contract, $5.9 million cap hit. If he plays the way that he did the final year in Colorado, golden, right? Things look good. But the way that he played last season, it was not a great year for him. And again, it was not a great year for the blue line in front of him. We'll see if things get better this year. So, Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.